Be standing so
All
close.
right, folks, we are going live right now. We're gonna go ahead and close this door here. I'm gonna go ahead and get on up here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do we have a treat for you? First of all, we are glad to be back with you, wanting you to know that we have discovered something. My company, Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, that's the real estate brokerage that we work with as a realtor. There's some phenomenal people. I got an email from them just the other day stating that we are officially, officially in the fourth industrial revolution. Now, many of you who are history buffs, you know that, of course, there was the locomotive, there was the loom, right? And there was so many other things leading up to, personal computers, software. Now we're in the fourth industrial revolution, and the fourth industrial revolution has to deal with what? How many of you can name what the fourth industrial revolution is? Big data and artificial intelligence. And so, what we want to do is remain relevant, right? We want to give you information that you can use right now. You don't have to wait in line, right? You don't have to wait in line for the information that can make you $50,000 in less than 6 months, all right? You don't have to wait in line for it. Now is the time to get on board. And I'm going to bring up a man who is a serial entrepreneur, killing it in his field, also a successful real estate investor. His name's going to be Joseph Smith. And many of you already recognize who this man is, but let me tell you that tonight, this man is the one who basically taught me, the velocity banking, showed me how to get out of the mindset of the impoverished and into the mindset of the wealthy. And of course, he partners with Ray Fleming, who's just a phenomenal guy, just killing it everywhere. So I would say that anything that these men touch turns to gold. Okay, they know how to generate cash flow. All right, so we wanted to share with you some secrets that they have implemented in their business, have implemented in my business, have seen success. Our clients have implemented in their business, and we're actually going to be getting to many of them tonight here to show you that this is real. Okay, this is real, and we definitely want to bring them up. Without further ado, we want to bring up Joseph Smith, and he's going to teach you what getting $50,000 in business lines of credit within less than 6 months is all about. Okay, Joseph, thank you so much.
Hey, CJ, thanks for having us out again.
No problem, man.
Let's, can we go?
Oh, you want me to go around?
All right.
All right.
You didn't give us a lot of room on this stage today.
Oh man, I sure did.
All right. Hello, YouTube. Can you all see me? Or am I in frame?
Hey, folks, can you see me tonight?
Perfect.
Yes, perfect.
All right. Well, hey, for those of you who heard about business credit or want to learn more about what business credit is, up on the screen we're going to go over business credit tonight. We're going to teach you, give you all the steps on how to build it all by yourself if you want to, and then we're going to give you an opportunity to partner with us as well. But if you'd like to get the 4-step guide on how to build your business credit without using your social security number, just text the word credit to 602-497-2257. That's the word credit. You text credit to 602-497-2257. All right. So first of all, who is this big guy that's talking to you? Let me introduce myself. My name's Joseph Smith, and I played a lot of football. I was very blessed. I played football at number 57 in high school, had a lot of fun. But I was very blessed to get a college full-ride scholarship to play at Boise State University.
There you go, big blue.
That's right, the Smurf turf. Now, I don't know if anybody, do we have any football fans on the line here? We just, obviously we're in March Madness season, so more people are thinking about basketball, but anyway. All right. But this was a great time in my life. And in football, I learned a lot about hard work, learned about teamwork, I learned about leadership. There's so many different skills that translate over into the business community. And this is my team, my last year. There I am, number 57. And let me tell you something. I had a lot of support from family to come out and visit. We had just a tremendous run. Now I played with Boise State before they were as famous as they are today, back when they were a 1AA college. And this was us at the University of Utah. This was the first time Boise State ever beat a Division I ranked opponent, okay? So that's us right there singing our college fight song to our fans, which, were about 10 people in the stands at the time, right? But yeah, this was a great time. But all good things must come to an end or change for the worse, depending if you're a glass half empty, half full kind of person. So from there, I moved on and I got into law enforcement. That's right. If you ever got arrested and went to jail, I was the person who you saw, and I took away all your stuff and gave you your little striped or orange jumpsuit. That was me. Right? It wasn't too fun of a job. But I decided, okay, I want to go ahead and use my education, right?
Education.
So I went and got a job as a social worker. I worked for Arizona in the Department of Economic Security for Child Protective Services. That's right, CPS. So it was my job to show up at somebody's house, and if they were abusing their kids, take their babies away. And so
Way to use that education.
I'm telling you, it was a pretty depressing job. So whether I was in corrections or if I was working CPS, I was literally catching people on the worst day of their life. I mean, that was every day for me, was dealing with people on the worst day of their life. Now, I say all that to say where I've come from. During this time, I was, I have a wife and I have 4 kids, and I'm struggling just try to make ends meet like the rest, like everybody else. But I don't know if you guys remember, but we've been through some ups and downs economically over the past couple of decades. And I found myself going through 2 foreclosures that eventually led to bankruptcy. And I'm a man of faith. And I'm like, Lord, I'm trying to do everything right. Why is everything going so wrong? Anybody can relate, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. If you've been through what I've been through, you can relate. So what I did is I had to figure it out. And I came across a group of real estate investors in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they were like really killing it. They were just fix and flipping properties. They had rentals, they had $1 million portfolios. And I was like, wow, I want to do that. But man, that sounds like it's going to take a lot of money. But I ended up finding out that, these people just got educated. They knew where to find the money. They knew how to do the deals. And so, okay, I was like, I'm in, just show me how to do it. So I got myself educated and I learned how to do that. That was about, that was about 6 years ago. Over that time, if we fast forward to now, we've been able to build a successful real estate company. In fact, I have 7 companies, and we've been doing so many deals. We have a fix and flip company. We have a rental company. We help people with business credit. This has really taken off. It's been a huge blessing for me and my family. But it all started here, and it all started getting educated. But what I realized is, hey, I wanted to do real estate. Where am I going to get the money? Well, I don't know. Where are you going to get the money? That's why you're here. If you're here to learn how to find the money, this is the journey that I've been on for the last 5 years. Is how does a guy with 2 foreclosures and a bankruptcy on his record go out and find money to do 15 flips in the last 24 months and have 5 rental properties, right?
That's awesome.
How do you do that? Well, you go out there and you learn about business credit.
What's going on, Mike?
So,
See ya.
okay, so before we get started into business credit,
New kid
I
on the
want to
block.
try and put a little bit of this into context. So I'm going to tell you a parable. You know what a parable is, right? It's a story that you tell, but it has a deeper meaning. So I'm going to tell you my parable, if you would look to the screen here, about the greatest football game that was ever played. You guys want to hear about that?
Oh, this is awesome.
This is the greatest football game that was ever played. The 2007 Fiesta Bowl between Boise State and Oklahoma University. Now, I'm not biased, just because I played at Boise State, Doesn't mean this was 7 years after I was already gone, so I really can't, claim any of the credit here in this game. But here's the parable that I'm trying to tell you. The parable is you are Boise State, this is the first time that Boise State, a small little college, played on the national stage and was in contention for the national title. And they're up against none other than Oklahoma University, the most winningest college football program in all of college football. So here's the parable. Every football team starts out with the goal to do what?
Win.
Right? Like this ring right here. To win the championship. Every team starts off that way, right? No team says, you know what? Let's go 5-5. Let's have a mediocre season and just barely coast by, right? Nobody wants that. Let's just have a season where we lose every game, right? Nobody wants that. Think about it in terms of business. You start out with your business. You have dreams of achieving success, right? Why not earn $1 million in a year, in a month, in a day, right? You want to have a company that passes on legacy wealth to your loved ones, right? So you set these lofty goals. That's your championship, right? What is the Oklahoma Sooners here? This is the challenges that we face in business. Competition, the ups and downs, the fight, the struggle that it takes for us to achieve the victory that we want. Now, let's tell you the story of the 2007 Fiesta Bowl. Here's Boise State, this upstart college, just like your business. You might be a brand new startup business, right? Boise State starts off the game in stellar fashion. They scored 2 touchdowns, right? They're up like 14 points right at the beginning of the game. But what happens? I mean, think about your business. Maybe you've had some early on success. You got the deal, you made the commission, you got the sale. But then what happens? Well, the Oklahoma Sooners is what happens. Life happens. You fumble an opportunity. Has that ever happened? You're about ready to score, close the deal, and the competition intercepts it. Right? Does that happen?
Yeah.
Let's live in Realville. I mean, do the best laid plans always work out the way we planned it? Absolutely not. And so, after a fumbled opportunity, a miss here, you failed to convert, you didn't close the deal. Now you find yourself at the end of the game and you're losing, right? Or you're in debt, or the bills are starting to stack up and you don't have any way to make a payment, right? So here's what happens. We get to the end of the game. Here it is. Here we are. If you can see this. This is the 4th quarter of the game, the end of the game. Boise State's on the 50-yard line, all right? There's only 18 seconds left, and it's 4th down. So for those of you who aren't football fans, you only get 4 tries to get a first down, right? So that you can move the ball and eventually score, right? That's your goal. Well, this is their last shot at the end of the game. So what are they going to do here? They don't have the opportunity to really do anything other than one play. One play. I mean, here you are. Your business is on the line. What are you going to do? This is your final shot. You either make this deal, whatever you're trying to do, or you end up being out of business, or worse. So what is it that you're going to do? What play do you call? Do you call the Hail Mary pass? Just throw it as far as you can and, God, please. I hope they catch it.
Secure the bag records. I know you're ready, okay? He's saying, CJ, I'm ready. What's my next step? Joseph, you want to go ahead and, they're ready already, man.
So
there are people that are ready right now.
So here's the deal. So what I want to do is I want to show you, here's the play that they called. Mm-hmm. The play that they called at the end of this game, and I'm using this as a parable, right, because I want you to understand this. Because the play that they called was the play to win the game. Not some Hail Mary that doesn't score, but they had a strategy. They had a plan to win. Oh, yeah. So I want you to see the play that they called. Let's go ahead and pull that up here on the screen.
We'll get right back at you. Secure the bag. We're commenting right now.
for the Broncos.
Bransky's legs might be critical here to save time on throwing the ball.
Down the middle. A lateral to the corner of the end zone. Can you believe that?
That'll never get old.
In the final seconds of 4th down and 18. Montgomery. And it is good. Well, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
Now, I hope you heard that. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. This is your business. The play that I want you to think about, the play that you call, is going for business credit. All right? Have a strategy, have a play to succeed. Not just try and figure it out on the fly, but let's go for building business credit. We're going to teach you how to do that here tonight. All right? So, business credit. Well, what we've done is we've put together the entrepreneur playbook for building business credit. And if you stick with us, I want to tell you how that game ends, because that game just got tied up at the end of regulation. I want to show you what happens in overtime, all right, right at the end. But for right now, we're going to show you the entrepreneur's playbook for building business credit. How do you do it, right? Well, first of all, where do you go when your business needs money? Where do people go?
Some people go to the banks.
Well, you sure can't get enough money from mom and dad, typically, right? Right. So, people go to the banks. So, I want to show you real quick here, and here's an example of what we've been able to do with business credit. See, we use a special strategy. This is myself and my business partner, Ray Fleming. We use a strategy of linking business credit to our businesses that own our rental properties. And what that does for us is that mitigates a lot of the risks. Because if you have a rental property, you typically need to keep extra capital on hand in case what? The roof leaks or the water heater breaks, right? So even though you're collecting rent, you've got to have enough money set aside, because you might be collecting $1,000, $1,200 in rent, but if there's a leak in the roof and you have to fix the roof and that's $10,000, $15,000, well, there goes all your profit for the year, right? But when you have business credit, you have $50,000 in lines of credit attached to the actual business that owns the rental. Then you just put that on the business credit cards, right? Instead of having to pay, the $15,000 for the roof repair, you put that on a card, and now you only have to make a few $100s a month in your payment, right? That is easier to weather than having to pay all that money up front. And then here's another one of my business partners. His name's Stephen Weibel. He's a realtor, or was a realtor, from New Jersey. He used business credit in conjunction with hard money lenders. And he used it in such a way, using a strategy called short sales, to negotiate. He used the hard money for the acquisition to purchase properties at a very deep discount with the wholesale, because this was back in 2008, right? When property was always on sale. That's what it was. I mean, he was able to buy 32 properties and then turn around and quickly sell half of those, 16, take all the money, pay off his hard money lender, and he held on to 16 rentals, right? And so what business credit did was, that was his collateral, because when you borrow money from a hard money lender, they want to know that you have skin in the game. Sometimes they want you to have anywhere from 10%, 20, 30% in the game. So with his business credit, he was able to say, hey, I'm bringing the money to the table for the rehab. He was able to fix those properties up, put tenants in there. Fast forward to today, I mean, he owns hundreds of properties all across the eastern seaboard. And guess what? He's a hard money lender now, thanks to the business credit. Boom. So we talked about where do you go to get financing. You go to the bank. But here's the sad truth about the bank. You can have 10 business owners show up and apply for SBA loans or some kind of funding. And how many of you think are going to get approved? Well, here's the problem. Here's what happens. This guy doesn't have enough cash flow. This person doesn't have any business credit. This person doesn't have any collateral. These people right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, they have character issues, right? Hey, thank you. They have character issues because they didn't fill out their application right, and the bank's concerned that there might be fraud going on. when you look at it, some people don't have capacity. This guy's not enough time in business. This person doesn't have enough time in business. And when you get to the end, out of 10 people applying to the banks for loans, 10 entrepreneurs, 10 small business owners, only one gets approved because 90% of all businesses fail, right? Within their first 5 years. See, think about this from a lender's perspective. If you're a bank, how do you make money? You lend it out, and you lend it out because you expect to be paid back with interest. Well, if they know that 9 out of 10 people walking through their doors are going to be out of business and won't be able to pay them back, what are they going to do? They're going to tighten their lending restrictions and their guidelines. So how do you maneuver through this? The bank has made it almost impossible. In fact, they put together computer algorithms that make it very tough. I mean, they're going to be looking at all the minute little details like your business name, your address, your phone number, your websites, right? They're going to be looking at your bank account, your business license. They're going to be checking all of these things. We're going to go over this, right? Anytime you're trying to borrow an amount of money that's $150,000 or less, before any human underwriter takes a look at it, you've got to beat the computer. If the computer finds one thing wrong, just one discrepancy, you get kicked out. Your whole application gets kicked out. And you get some lame reason like, oh, unable to verify business or business credit unknown at this time. You get these generic messages that tell you nothing. Right, we're going to go over the steps today that you must follow if you want to beat that computer underwriter that's checking every little piece of information you put in. All right? And to help us better understand that is going to be my business partner, Mr. Ronaldo Fleming. And the reason why he's going to train you on this is because this guy has started up more businesses than I have fingers and toes. All right, he's had an eBay business where he sold all kinds of junk that other people bought. Right? He's had a landscaping business. He's had a kettle corn business. He's had wholesale business, a fix and flip business. He's had rental businesses. Here's the point. He's a successful entrepreneur. He's gone out there like Thomas Edison and found all the ways how you don't build business credit, how you don't make money. And he's learned how to set up a successful business from step one. And he's helped literally 50 different business owners over the last 6 months. Actually, now it's probably 8 months. 50 different entrepreneurs build business credit and build it successfully from the start. And he's going to share that knowledge and that passion with you today. So I'm just the opening act here, but now we're bringing in the meat and potatoes. If you're ready, please welcome to the front of the room, Mr. Ray Fleming. He's going to teach us everything we need to know about how to build business credit. Mr. Ray Fleming.
Awesome, Ray. Woo!
Wherever you are.
Yes.
Ray, where are you?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Well, actually, it's already started. Great job, Joey.
Great job.
All right. So, welcome, everybody. Good to see you here. Now, how do we move forward on this? Well, some of you may have seen us before, or, if you're just tuning in now, you're like, well, who are these guys? Our big passion is real estate. And if you didn't know, it does take money, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your own. I just got started in real estate about 3 years ago. These are just a couple of the deals that we have done in that short period of time. This is actually just about the last 18 months or so, something about that. Several rental properties. This is the newest acquisition here. We're looking at about from the time we purchased it at auction to the time it's sold, about 36 days and just about $20,000. That's what's powerful. Now, CJ,
$20,000 in profit?
Yeah.
Wow.
How would you like to do that in 36 days?
That's beautiful.
Give yourself an hourly pay raise. That's for sure. But no, I'm not doing that to say the first deal, it wasn't that good, Well, it worked out, but it just happened to be 8 months long and, made this much money. And so it was just one of those things until I actually started taking some classes. Did you know that there's actually classes that will teach you how to do this stuff? And I'm not talking about like one of these weekend 3-day boot camp things. I'm not talking about just some videos on YouTube. Actual school will teach you how to flip profitably. Not one of these seminar things, and actual tests and instructors and everything. CJ actually is part of that. Myself and Joseph as well. if you want to know more about that, of course, reach out to us at wiseguysandties.com. You can reach CJ through that. You can reach Joseph. You can reach myself. Any one of us, if you want to talk to any of us, just go to wiseguysandties.com, fill out a business consultation. That's the easiest and quickest way to get through to one of us. You can also leave a voicemail. It's after hours right now, but you can leave a voicemail with your name, your phone number, a good time to call you back, but also where you're located. Because, I mean, we talk with people all across the country, so we need to know where you are to line up what time, if you're on East Coast, if you're on the West Coast, you say 11 o'clock, that's three different hours that could happen. So, but if you want to get into real estate like us, business credit is the huge missing link. That was one of those things. It was like, okay, how do we offset the risk of the rentals, which we'll get into a little bit later. But to first figure out how and what business credit is, we first need to explore what you may already know. And what you already know about is personal. So let's take a look at this. Your personal credit, which is under your social security number, and your business, the EIN number, also known as the employee identification number.
Mike Charles wanted to know about how long does an EIN number last. We'll go ahead and get to that, Charles.
Charles,
good job.
EIN number will last as long as the company lasts.
There you go.
Really, that's what it is. It's like a social security number. How long will that last? Well, as long as that's around and it's attached to that specific person. So until that is no longer there, that's really how long.
Perfect.
Now, perfect credit score on the personal side is 850. Now, yeah, there's a couple of new scoring models that might be 900, but majority, we all know 850.
That's the FICO system?
FICO system, yes.
Perfect.
Now, what is a perfect business credit score? Is it the same? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, on the personal credit side, who reports? So if you needed to, or where could you find those reports? The big bureaus that produce your report. So there's 3 major bureaus, and who would you actually go to get a report? Well, on the personal side, if you said Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, give yourself a gold star. Now, if we need to check our business credit score, we need to know who that big bureau is. Now, there's 3 big ones as well. Do you know who they are? Well, if you don't know, that's something you're going to learn tonight as well. What affects your score? So if you and your personal credit, let's see, anybody out there, just shout it out. What affects your personal credit score? What could make your score go up? What could make it go down?
What
are
affects
some of those things
your
that could
personal
affect it?
credit score?
Yes.
What affects it? Go ahead and answer.
Could 2 foreclosures and a bankruptcy affect your credit score?
It's like what kind of music is that?
2
Joseph's
foreclosures
like,
and a bankruptcy.
yeah, 2 foreclosures and a bankruptcy.
That's
Yeah,
it, man.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that
Does
shows
that-
that I had poor payment history.
There you
Poor
go.
payment history.
Payment history.
Payment
There we go.
history is the number one factor.
Perfect.
We also have utilization. So you're like, what is utilization? Utilization is how much of your available credit are you actually using? They don't want to see you using more than 50%. Well, it just depends on the situation.
Yes.
But of course, to find out more about that, we actually have a class that'll teach you all about credit. You can find out more simply filling out a business consultation through wiseguysandties.com. Inquiries. So actually going out applying
go,
for
Gary.
credit.
Good job.
When you're at Kohl's and they say, hey, would you like to apply for the Kohl's card and you get 15% off your purchase today? It scares me because so many people do that blindly and don't realize how important your credit is. And secondly, how inquiries can really hurt you. So we want to protect that. Age of accounts. This is another one I see. So on your personal side, they want to see a bunch of brand new accounts. No. They don't want to see that. They want to see that you've had credit lines, products for a long period of time. That's why, say you have an old credit card, 10 years old, you don't use anymore. If you close that account, it will hurt your score. It will. And people don't even realize that too. They're like, well, I don't use that anymore. I'll close it. Nah, it's going to hurt your account. Mix of accounts. They want to see a little bit of everything. Maybe a student loan, a car loan, a mortgage, a credit card, this, that, a few other products. They want to make sure that you're able to balance your money. What affects your business score? Is it the same as your personal score? Well, we're going to get into that tonight, and it's not necessarily the same. So if you're like some of the people out there, entrepreneurs in the world, you had a couple bumps, maybe a foreclosure, maybe bankruptcy, maybe some old medical things that haven't fallen off yet, and it's bringing your score down. How long, when I said the perfect score was 850, because all of you started to think about where you're currently at, from where you're currently at to get to a perfect business or a perfect personal credit score, how long would that take? So most would probably agree it would take forever, because as soon as it gets slightly good enough to actually use, most of the time we end up using it. There's nothing wrong with that too. But how long does it take for you to build business credit? This is the great thing that we're going to go over tonight, and it's a lot faster than you may think. Of course, this is a disclaimer that I'm not an attorney, public accountant, CPA, financial advisor. Even if I have a license, I'm not acting in any of those licensing at this time. So basically, do your due diligence. Make sure that your specific situation is unique to your specific situation. What we're doing is we're talking about business credit in a general sense tonight. If you want to actually have a partnership with a company that does this day in, day out and work with a financial team, a financial advisor, financial loan officer, we have that available to you. And because of Mr. CJ Wallace and Wise Guys and Ties is going to extend an amazing offer to you tonight if you need help with building this. Other than that, we're going to tell you exactly what you need to do.
For a limited time, folks. You don't have all the time in the world. We'd love to work with you.
Yeah, even if you're a polar bear. So I like this polar bear. It was cold. It's starting to warm up now, but where you are, you still might have snow. But it's important to get real with who we are. And we spend a lot of time looking in the mirror in the morning, getting ready with hair, this, that, shaving, whatnot, or, ladies doing the makeup. But how often do you actually look at your business from that same perspective? We have to get a visual on how our company looks to everybody else. And most of the time, we're just too caught up in the details of running a business that we forget to comb the business's hair. We forget to put on the makeup. We forget to even put on clothes. And so I see a lot of businesses running around out there butt naked. That's what I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It happens. It happens.
It's embarrassing.
So what we have to do is create some comfort for the lenders. This is my little girl. She likes this little pillow here, and she takes that pillow everywhere with her because it is something of comfort. No matter how I try to replicate that pillow or replace it with something that is not authentic, she knows. Even in the dark, she could feel it and smell it and know. She could even hear it. She could hear all these things. She's the pillow whisperer. But it's important. As she got older, the pillow gets different marks, but she still knows what is authentic. And lenders do too. They know what's authentic. So the first step of being authentic is, are you treating it like a hobby? Building models, building cars, that's something I used to do as a child. But all it did was it cost me money to do something I loved. Most businesses become hobbies. This is something that you love that you're trying to figure out a way to turn into a business, but it's kind of
Counterproductive.
Yeah, well, it's one of these things that
Cost you money.
being an entrepreneur is hard when nobody tells you what you have to do.
Ooh.
So in the beginning, when we're just, this is exciting, I choose my own hours, and I'm doing this fun stuff, but I'm not really doing the stuff I don't like to do, which is actually like making sure all the stuff in my business is lining up perfectly, because that's not fun. I want to work on the fun stuff. treating it like a hobby versus a business is the first thing that lenders know happens, and they sense it. So we got to be careful about that.
Step one.
Step one, yeah. Do we have any Bens on the line? Bens?
Benz? Do you have any
Benjamins? Benjamins?
Benjamins?
Mercedes.
Is it good?
Mercedes?
Benz?
No, Mercedes? We have any of this name? Ben. Ben's not a bad name. It's not a bad name. So you may be thinking, hey, my business doesn't have a bad name. It's something wholesome. You know, an American name, Ben. Yeah, you know, sounds pretty good. Yeah. But sometimes we put situations together, like this guy's poor, you know, his parents, some people just shouldn't have children, but bend over. I don't even know how many years of therapy, because where I went to school, if a teacher was like, is bend over here? Bend over. You bend over. That is a recipe for disaster. So don't do that to your children. And if you know somebody that did it or is thinking about doing it, save a child's life. That's really what it is. You know, we want to make sure that children have a way of, you know, actually struggling and learning the ropes. You don't want to give them everything, but let's just not make it too hard on them. What about real estate? We like to do real estate. We talk about that. We also like investments. But does your business have a name like that? Are you a general contractor? Basically, anything that is related to startup companies can be considered a high-risk industry. Even something like, say, an IT support company. Say you're just, you know, you fix computers. Doesn't seem like it'd be a high risk. Well, that's the problem. A lot of these things, and we'll go into depth more in a little bit on what the high-risk industries actually are, but you'll be surprised that most things that you'll think about starting end up being high risk, because many of them start off as home businesses, and we have to make sure that your business name, if it is labeling you as a high-risk industry, all you can still get the money, but your ducks need to be in a row, like all in a row, perfectly lined up, because say investments, for example, that creates confusion. So is it a brokerage of some sort? Is it, you know, are we dealing with stocks, bonds? Is this a financial institution? So much confusion. Lenders, they can't really technically lend to other banks. They're not supposed to. So they're just gonna like say, hey, this is a person, but that's a bank. It's confusion. So if you're in a situation that you're a high-risk industry, you know, like real estate or general contract, I mean, we'll go through a list of things. You got to talk with us, because in order to get funding, it might be your business name that's the issue, and we know how to get around that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to run out and change your business name. I'm saying you have to get a call to us.
That's right.
Step two.
Step two. Now the next step, we're going to talk about where your business is actually located. Oh, and where are you actually sending the lenders? Because the lenders are actually going to be checking many different resources that they have available to them, and they're going to see if what you're putting on your application is lining up with what's on your application. That's really what it is. So maybe you started out with having your business at home. You're like, I don't have the money for an office, so I'm going to have my corporate documents drafted up for my home. Well, then maybe you move to an office, or maybe you're starting at an office, or you're thinking, well, I don't want it at home. I'm going to have a P.O. box, or I'm going to go, hey, I saw online that I could go to a UPS store and get a UPS box number, because it's an address and not an actual box. Unfortunately, everybody has Google, and they know if it's a UPS store. Lenders are smart. They're in the business of making money. And imagine if you're in the business of making money off of other businesses, you're going to know all these little shortcuts that businesses take. And we want you to understand how to avoid these traps. Virtual offices. Virtual offices are a very, very good resource for being able to get a cost-effective office. Now, there's a little secret to how to actually get into a virtual office, but not be thrown in the bag with all the other businesses there. Because if another business starts messing up payments, that could actually trickle onto you because you're at the same address. But I love virtual offices. We use them a lot. We'll show you how to actually get a good virtual office and use it the right way. Or say your mom's house, like me. I had a little handyman business, contractor business. I had a lot of truck, trailer, tools, all that good stuff. I didn't want anybody stealing it because I was at my house. So I put my mom's house because I didn't want anybody to take any of that equipment, or at least, know where technically my business was. I was somewhat trying to hide, but also out there and get customers. So unknowingly, because I was concerned about exposure, I was also sending a message to potential customers that I'm trying to hide something. Any big business is not trying to hide something. Any legitimate business is not trying to hide. So that's very important to understand. You're going to take a little test here. And as you watch the screen, there's going to be a quiz that pops up. I want you to look at it. I want you to think about it. You may have to do some type of, you're going to have to look at what is wrong in that situation. There's several things. There's going to be words there. There's going to be numbers there. There's going to be colors there. You're going to have to look at it and figure out what is actually wrong. So
Here we go.
Put that up there, and the first person to see what is wrong, go ahead and shout it out.
Shout it out. What do you see that's wrong? Huh? Look at it. Read it. Can you read it? Who is that? Poisonous? Hey, you got it.
Perfect.
Spot.
Okay.
Good job,
So
Poisonous.
a lot of times people will miss the extra spot because maybe we're reading it, maybe we're looking at numbers. Once we see numbers on a certain thing and we see colors, we start to see it depending on where your mind actually comes from. Could be you're looking at the colors or the numbers or something of that nature. All right, so a spot is twice. Now the reason that this is important, because when you're reviewing your documents, this is important. Our mind makes little shortcuts. So if we've seen an address 100 times, we kind of just run through it real quick and this is the 50th page of paperwork. I don't want to be doing this again. And even myself and Joseph, and CJ, we are all victims of this. We have, I've gone through and signed documentation and not noticed that on the address, it was road instead of street.
Oh my word.
It's these small little things that need to be corrected. And I even get that wrong still. I'm like, I still don't even know. Is it street or is it road? I don't even know. I should know this by now. But I go back and forth between those two all the time that I literally just have to check the document with the document and make sure it's legit.
Boom.
Also, when you're reviewing your corporate documents, because we're going to want you to get some type of legal entity, because to truly build business credit separate from yourself, you need to have a separate entity. That's when you're really considered another thing. Now, here's you as a person. Now we have a separate company. All right, what about these? Where I am, down here in Arizona, I don't have many payphones anymore. No.
Step 3.
Step 3. Oh yeah, the phone.
Could be.
Absolutely.
Could be step 3. Are we at step 3?
Yes.
I don't know. Step 3. We're covering payphones.
Yes.
The reason that this is important is this was used for a lot of 800 numbers. We don't use a lot of 800. There's not a need for 800 numbers necessarily anymore. Also, when everybody had to pay for long distance from their home phone, 800 numbers were huge. 800 numbers are a huge sign of credibility.
Yes.
It's a very great thing to have. You also need a local number as well. This is important to understand because when it comes to your local business number, you're going to need to be in the phone book. You may not have thought about being in the phone book, and I'll tell you why. It's something that's outdated, but lenders need to rely on this more than the internet now because of how fast times are changing and also how easy it is to manipulate things online.
Yes.
In 5 minutes, you can put a website up with anything. You can pay to have anything put onto Google. There's anything anybody wants could be blasted out at any given time, and there is no checking.
Yeah.
Anything on the internet could be out there, and there's no quality control. I guess that's the word.
There you go.
But here, organically, once you were in business, they would put you into the book, or they'd send you information on if you wanted to do advertisements. There's actually a quality control check here. Same here. They're going to make sure that with the Corporation Commission or the Secretary of State, they're going to make sure that you have an actual business. Very important to understand. The 411 directory, the national 411 directory. Are you in there? Because lenders are going to check to see if you're in the listing. What the issue is 50 to 80% of lending institutions, that's the percentage of applications that are fraudulent. So imagine that. 50 to 80% of the people applying to get money from you are trying to deceive you in some way, shape, or form. You're going to go through these extra little things that they aren't going to think about. Nobody's thinking about 411 listings. Nobody's thinking about phone books anymore. Mm-hmm. These are outdated systems. Nobody's thinking about fax numbers, but it is something that the lenders use as a credibility tool. Yeah. So if you want to be a credible company, you're going to need to jump on that bandwagon as well. Actually, it's the bandwagon that's been around forever. We just all stopped getting on it. Google Voice numbers, personal cell phone numbers, phone numbers that are not registered to your business. Well, I use a Google Voice number because it was free and it was a way to get another number. Okay, free, red flag. We can get you a good number, an 800 number, a local number, about $10 a month. Yes, there are going to be expenses, but what you're doing is you're creating these small expenses that are going to create credibility for your business because, yeah, maybe you have to spend a couple $100, but what is the return going to be? Several thousands and thousands of dollars of available lines of credit, vehicle financing, loans, you name it. It's an investment. If you're a business owner, you need to understand the rate of return, which most of you I know do. So it's one of those things, we want you to spend the money on the things that actually matter, not on the things that don't matter.
There you go. That's perfect.
What about your email address? What if you were at Bank of America and you had been talking with the small business banker guy, and he was, you guys have been conversing, and then he said, I'm going to send you an email. Perfect. Then you get an email like this from Joseph, bankofamerica@gmail.com. Right away, I know all of you got that, well, that's fake. Or, you got a weird feeling like right away, like that's scam, total scam. It's probably a word that came to your mind, which it should. Now, what about this? If we change it slightly, it's because of the domain. Bank of America controls its domain. It has a secure domain, and it uses encrypted, secured emails. Now, you still need to make sure that, because it could get, there could be somebody that's trying to deceive you in some way, shape, or form. But if the likelihood of Joseph Smith, who you just talked to, it's on his business cards, and then this is the email you're getting from, the likelihood, I haven't heard of any cases where they've actually been able, it might be out there, don't take my word for it, but for the most part, if we're in communication, I'm gonna feel pretty comfortable about that. Now, as we experience in real estate, doing work with people and trying to cut corners can put a stop work order on your project. This means basically you can't move any further forward. And this happens business license. So when you didn't, say you didn't, if you're using an unlicensed contractor, say you have a license, and when you moved, or you set up an office, or you did this, or you did that, and you didn't change your license address, that could cause a trip up on approvals, and you would not even think about it. So licensing in the address on the licensing, or if you need a license and don't have a license, that's another reason for denial. Now, moving on, we're on step what? 7?
You're actually on step 10 now.
Step 10. So we've gone through several steps, and then we'll break it down for you in a little bit. We'll run through the steps on how that actually works.
So I just want to
But-
see if we can get an overview here. So the first one was
We'll
business
cover it.
credibility.
We'll get an overview in 2 seconds.
Okay.
So as soon as we cover the first
Okay,
step,
perfect.
we'll break them all down for you
Perfect.
guys. Another thing that's important is setting up your business bank account. So if you are in business, if you have a legal entity, you need to get a business bank account. Now, there's banks out there where it doesn't even cost you anything. There's banks out there where maybe it costs you $5, $8. It just depends on what your goals are. It depends on which bank you want to bank with. And go get a business bank account and start running your funds through your business bank account. Because from the lender's perspective, the day that you start using your business bank account is the day that you actually are in business. So you could have been in business for 10 years running under your private name. Well, it's hard to track. And lenders, if you're trying to get financing for a business, they can't really use that. That's the problem. And I know a lot of people are like, well, in the beginning, I didn't have the funds to, start an LLC and this and that and this and that. And then I got so busy, I never had a way to go back and, I just got too caught up. Never went back to correct it. The last thing you're ever going to want to do is go back and try to correct it. And there's contractor guys that work with it. And they're like, well, I've been doing it 15 years under my name. Well, can't really get you much money. I mean, if you have bad personal credit, you're screwed. We can't really, we could get you a little bit, but basically you're going to get held up right after getting a couple of little store accounts. And we'll go over how to get those accounts here in a minute. But let's see, what do we got after the trip you up, 15-yard penalty because you just lost your business credit. That's for sure.
Get a fine of $50,000.
So basically, these are just the foundational steps. What we just talked about is all these little aspects. These are important foundational steps to setting up any business. This is something that any business owner needs to make sure that they understand properly, because it's not just credibility for the lenders, it is credibility to your customers. Because if you're still using Gmail accounts, your customers take that as you may not realize it, but the next time you see a business card and somebody's using Gmail, you're gonna be like, are they that serious about their business? If you're something that, for example, real estate and deals with people like, hundreds of thousands of dollars of transactions, and they're like, well, this guy can't even afford can't even afford an email address. Like, they don't verbalize it, but subconsciously these things trigger insecurities, and it will prompt people to not do business with you.
That's a good point, Ray.
That's a very good point.
Foundation. We're building the field before we're even playing the game. We got to build the field and build it right the first time. And even if you didn't build it right the first time, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you from day 1, or you're on day 50 and we got to go back through and fix everything to make sure that we can maximize your funds. Because in order to grow truly big, it's going to be very hard if you're just always trying to just use your cash. So bring in more funds to accelerate your business.
Business growth fundamentals.
Business growth fundamentals. We're now moving into the second phase of this. So there are 7 major phases that we have in our program. The second phase is actually setting up who is reporting. Dun & Bradstreet runs the world of business credit. They have the largest database of business credit accounts. If you don't know who Dun & Bradstreet is, well, you're going to need to get set up with them. And you also are going to need to get issued a DUNS number from Dun & Bradstreet before you can start building business credit. This is very important. So this is, it's kind of something that's tacked on to your EIN to actually create a file for you. So if you don't have a Dun & Bradstreet account yet, you're not building business credit. Now, if you go to Dun & Bradstreet, they know this. They know they run the show. Try to get off the phone with them with a free Dun & Bradstreet number is going to be very difficult. The average is about $1,200 that gets spent with Dun & Bradstreet because people don't know that they can get it for free. Dun & Bradstreet is very, they're not very easy to understand that that's an option. That's the best way to put it. Once you have a DUNS number and you have some accounts reporting, you will be issued a Paydex score. Now, your business credit score is 0 to 100, not 450, 500, 850, or whatever, 0 to 100. At an 80, that's similar to having about an 800 personal credit score. You know that you're going to be able to get approved because you have good credit. 100 is that 850, and what that means is you've always paid on time, or 80 is you're just always on time. Or actually, let's see, if you're at 100, that means you've always paid early. So you've always been early on all your payments. 80 means you've always paid on time, and as you get 1 day late to infinity, that's how low your score will go. So say you're 30 days late, boom, you're down here. 90 days, boom, you're down here. It's not like personal credit where you could be almost 30 days late and not have it report. 1 day late on a beginner net 30 account could actually trip you up and create a negative. So we don't want to do that. Now there's some up and coming business reporting bureaus. There's a Business Experian and then Equifax Small Business. Those are the up and coming business credit reporting agencies, but Dun & Bradstreet still runs the show for now. Let's take a look at Walmart. We all know who Walmart is. It's been around for quite some time now, and it has a lot of products. They actually have over 60,000 different supplier accounts. Your local Walmart where you are may have 1,000 to 5,000 just local accounts from businesses, distributors, different financial institutions. But this is the big question. How many of those accounts actually show up on their business credit report? So we went to Experian. We checked it out because that's the cool thing is you can check any company's business credit if you want to actually pay to get a report. Not like the personal side. If I wanted to go check CJ's credit without his authorization, I could end up in jail. This is a big problem. But not on business side. Businesses will check. And you could check too. Say you want to do business with somebody, be like, let me see if they have any bad accounts. Great way to check. 513. That was a shocker. So out of 60,000, only 513 are showing up on Experian. Why is that? Well, we're going to dig into why that is such a problem. But it's important to understand that out of 60,000 accounts, only 513 are showing up. And we need to get you 14 accounts. So, Mars candy bars, $1 billion industry, business actually, $1 billion business.
$22 billion.
$22 billion in sales. We're talking Snickers, all that beautiful stuff. They only have 22 accounts that actually show up on their credit report. Get that? That's crazy. So these people like this, local here down in Tucson, we got people, small companies, mom and pop shops. This couple builds cooler pads. So they have a lot of accounts for all the little contractors around Tucson that work on their evaporative coolers. They specialize in making the pads for the coolers. But they don't report to Dun & Bradstreet. They're running their business. And in Dun & Bradstreet, if they needed to report, they would want integration with their QuickBooks. I mean, they're still running everything off of like a hand ledger, and they're not going to spend $2,000 a year just to report. They're not going to bring on extra staff just to report. They're not going to do that. But they'll take a gamble on somebody like me who's just starting out. They'll say, yeah, try you one time.
Hey, Jared.
See if you can do it. They're willing to work with the little guys because they were little one time.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go find these guys. Guys that are big enough to report, but still willing to take a gamble on the little guys. So, unfortunately, 97% of those companies that report that will be willing to actually give the new guy a chance, 97 don't even report. That's the problem. Only 3% of companies out there who are big enough to report are willing to take a chance on somebody who has zero credit. These are beginner accounts. These are net 30 accounts. So what is a net 30 account, you may ask? A net 30 account from a vendor, we call it vendor credit. you can shop at their store. You're coming to the shop of Ray. I will extend you $100 credit on net 30 terms. What that means is you can get $100 worth of stuff from me today, and once I invoice you, you have 30 days to pay me back. I sometimes will incentivize people by saying, 1% net 10. That means you had 30 days to pay, but if you pay within the first 10 days, we'll take an extra 1% off of your total. It's a great way. Most of it is at no interest, so it's kind of like a 30-day interest-free thing. However, there are some net 30 accounts that do have interest. It just depends on the company. But you need to get 5 of these. 97 aren't reporting, but you need to get 5 of the ones that do report. And that's where we really help you out. We will give you all the latest updated, literally daily, what is changing. We track all the data. That is our specialty, because this is the hardest part of building your business credit, is knowing who reports and how do they report and what do I need to do to report. We will cover all that for you. We'll give you who reports, what you need to do. The average is about $50 purchase. So if you make a $45 purchase, they're not going to report. If you make a $50 purchase, then they will, if you did it the right way. And we will show you exactly how to do it the right way, so you get 5 that actually are going to show up on your report. After we do that, then we're going to move on to store credit. So we first got our little beginner accounts, our vendor credit. Then we waited for that to report. Then we move on to store credit. Now you say, well, how do I actually check my credit report? Well, the great thing is, if you were to go to Dun & Bradstreet, is we have a corporate account that could literally add you as a user for only $24. $24 to get your reports. Go out there and check. Go to Dun & Bradstreet. See how much it is to get a credit report.
Yes.
They may have changed. I don't know. I only think they were going to go up, because last time I checked it was $150, and we could get to you for $24. Great deal. But once we have those 5 accounts reporting, and remember, when you're working with us, you're working with a team of financial advisors, a team of loan officers. We are actually going to help you do this the right way. Now, Amazon, once we have 5, we're going to go to Amazon. We can go to Walmart. We can go to Staples. It just depends.
Good job, Doc Transport.
There's so many different accounts that we have in the store realm and they'll have different requirements. But that's the thing is, what are their requirements? We're going to help you get those store credit. Now, the important part is that we did really good in round 1. This is round 2. And what our approvals were in the first round will dictate how much Amazon gives us in the second round. So if we did really good in the first round, Amazon might be at $7,000 or $10,000. $10,000 for Amazon. This is very important, because we're going to use Amazon again later. And I'm going to show you how that works. Same thing, wait for these to report, and we get 10 accounts on a report. Then we're moving into fleet credit. We're getting gas cards. We're getting cards that can help with vehicle maintenance, vehicle financing. This is when we can start to tap into the world of working towards vehicle financing. So if you ever need a new vehicle, you need a company vehicle, takes a little bit of time, but we can get you vehicle financing without using your social security number.
Boom.
That's crazy. What? Tires, oil changes, all that beautiful stuff.
Wait a minute, you guys got
Now, once we have 14 accounts, we're moving into the cash credit realm. This is where we all want to be. So at this point, we first start with saying, hey, let's go back to Amazon. They gave us $10,000 in the second round, because now we're in the 4th round. We've been monitoring our credit report. We've been working with our financial team at Wise Guys and Ties, and get Amazon to drop a Visa logo on there. We get Sam's Club to drop a Visa logo on there. We have all of these companies to put MasterCard, Visa, American Express. And then we push into the world of business cards, using the strength of the company itself, the EIN number. So then we're going straight to the American Expresses and getting $20,000 without a personal guarantee. Now, this is a long process. It takes 6 to 12 months, but not as long as you may think.
It's not long at all.
No, not long at all.
It's a short process.
Right.
It is. What I meant in a sense is building your personal business or personal credit wasn't a process.
Mhm.
Building business credit the right way is a process. It's just like building your business. And so you may think, well, that's a whole lot of work. How am I going to keep track of all that? Because it is a process. It's a lot to cover. It's a lot to think about. But we needed a way to streamline it, because how many businesses can you start? That's the great part.
Infinity.
If you want, if you in 6 months, let's say in a year from now, you're like, I need $300,000. Okay, because I'm going to start investing in real estate. I'm going to take some classes over this next year. I'm going to work on getting on my job, but I'm going to need the money ready for when I'm ready to pull the trigger. Say you just want to buy a house and lease it, or say you want to business to buy a house so you can lease it to yourself. Get that? So you start up 6 companies and start building it while you're working.
Yes.
You could literally just go purchase a house and lease it to yourself. Great stuff.
That's
How long
amazing.
would it take you to qualify for a mortgage? Say you already have a mortgage and want to get a rental property. What if you just were able to go out and buy that straight with your business credit?
Straight with your business credit.
Here's the Phyllis and Thelma sample out of the LaPorte, Texas. You know, they use business credit to help companies. They're a tax relief service. So they work with a lot of high net individuals who are in situations like doctors who all of a sudden they have a $400,000 tax bill. How do they do that? Well, in a very short period of time working with us, we can get those companies lines of credit to pay off the IRS and move forward helping other people. Now, them themselves, they went to their bank to get a business line of credit and they turned them down. You know, they got started with the financial advisors with the business credit builder program and set up their business credibility and built their business credit. After following the steps, they've now secured $96,000 in business credit and just applied for the Platinum American Express and got approved instantly with no limit.
No limit.
4 to 5 different companies calling them each and every day, trying to give them money. That's a really good problem to have. You may think, well, that sounds a little bit crazy, but is it crazy? When you see the stock exchange and the green little ticker and that stock is rising, people want to buy in. Companies want to buy in. Lenders want to buy in to businesses that are doing well. And credit companies are no different. On a business, they want to be the highest card. They want to be that go-to card because they want the business from the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's different than personal credit. On personal credit, they restrict, they'll pull back. But businesses, they want to push. They want to push into the market. It's like Sears. Sears is going under again. Bankruptcy for the second time. You can't grow a business by constricting.
No.
So if you ever want to plan for failure, you can work on constriction. But if you want to plan for success, if you want to plan for taking care of your family, if you want to plan on traveling the world, if you want to just feel validated in this world, if you want a system that will change your life, business credit is the option that you have placed before you. And for me and for Joseph, that's what we're going to talk about. That's the play. That's the play to play right now.
Yes.
And will it work for you? Yes,
Yes,
it will work for you.
Yes, it will.
It is a process and it takes work. But if you have a system that simplifies it, that anybody, this could be somebody who doesn't even know much about financing, can literally start a business. You have an administrative assistant, put them in charge of handling the business credit aspect of it. It's so easy to follow. With our team, we got your back. Then you can be like Abigail, getting commercial lines at JCPenney. And these are just to start. Uline, office materials, office supplies, $1,000 there. Another Office Depot card, gas cards, $17,000 at Amazon for tea. And please, find us on Facebook, Instagram, like us, subscribe. When you start getting your business lines of credit, share the love, share the wealth, because there's other people out there that need to know that business credit is the solution. Look, $4,000 at Amazon, $50,000 line of credit at Pilot Flying J. Any truckers out there? Imagine if you had $50,000 for basically the nationwide trucker stop. That's the way to do it. Office materials, and it just starts there. Remember, these are the starting ways to get all these accounts. Gas cards. Look, $9,000 American Express, $7,200, and these are not big accounts in the world of business. You may think, oh, $10,000 credit card, that's a lot. Not for a business. Not for a business. $20,000, no personal guarantee, and the list just goes on and on and on. $50,000 business line of credit. Insane. But we're talking big numbers. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Can you handle it? So, you're going to get a lot of money here. Can you handle it? We don't want you to be in the situation where phones are going off and you can't handle it. What we want to show you right now is the Business Credit Builder program. Now, is this pulled up on the computer?
I'll pull it up.
Perfect. All right.
Just have to advance.
So let's see if we got any questions here before we dive into this, because we're going to show you.
Go ahead and ask those questions, folks. We're going to show them. Go ahead. Sorry.
Got any questions? Anybody got any questions so far on the process of building business credit before we really show you how the accounts are going to work, the details, the systems, and all that beautiful stuff?
Awesome, folks. If you want to go ahead and get going right now, we need you to go ahead and send your contact info to bizcredit@wiseguysandties.com. We went ahead and put it right there on the comments, or go to wiseguysandties.com and fill out the form for a business consultation. Now, if you want to go ahead and call, hey, you can call 888-524-9273 or 520-276-7575. All right? That is exactly what you need to do if you want to go ahead and start tonight.
Now, CJ, what happened when you got started with business credit?
No, when I got started.
Oh.
Okay, all right, no problem. But
let's
when I get started,
answer
it
some
was
more
awesome.
questions. Anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, you guys got any questions?
I've
Go
been
ahead.
answering them, but I got you up and running.
Okay, cool. Let's tune in. Let's see what we're. All right, we're back. All right. So when you get started in the Wise Guys and Ties Business Credit Builder program, it looks like this. You have the Business Credit Builder, and it will show you progress of how far along you've came. So it's great to know where your progress is. We also have the funding progress. So if you have good credit and you want to personally guarantee the debt on your business to either grow, expand, or start, we can do that. Also, something you may not know, in as little as 6 months, the personal guarantee, there's ways to actually remove that from those lines of credit. Very important. Something we can work with you on. So if you want to do some direct funding, we can get you $25,000 to $150,000 very quickly. But also, the goal to truly building it, and what we're still going to need you to do, is go through and make sure all these little things are corrected in your business. So you just go to the Business Credit Builder, and as you go into the system, what's going to happen is it's going to start the 7-step process. So here it is. We have the overview up here. There's business credibility, and then also in the middle here, we can show you in larger, but there's check marks as you go along. So here's business credibility, and we have, establishing your business credit reports. Step 3 is to start building round 1.
Perfect.
Monitor your business reports. So we got to set up the monitoring, which we said is $24. Then step 5 is building your business credit, the second round. That was the store credit. Advanced building is the 3rd round, and then revolving accounts the 4th round. Now, let's dive into that a little bit more. Let's go to step 1, the credibility aspect. So it's step 1, and then we have, 1.1, 1.2, all the way through 10, 1.10.
Show this, or you want me to?
So here's the breakdown right here. You can see it on both the sides, the overview, and then right here, we go into the business name. We talked about that. It's a very fundamental step of making sure that you name your business the right way. Or if you have a business that's going to trip you up with a name, let's figure out how to move forward in the most effective way to make sure it doesn't create any lending problems. There's training videos in there as well. Next thing, we need a business address. You need an office, because they know that most home businesses are not profitable. There's $1 million businesses that run out of houses, but the statistics are that 90% of them aren't profitable. So lenders know this, and they don't want to see your home address on there. They just don't. They want to see an office on there. They also want to see.
Just read through them real quick, and then I'll go into it more in depth. Because people want to
Oh,
know what all
what the
names
steps are. Business entities. We got the phone numbers and the 411 listing, the website, your EIN number, business license, business bank account, business merchant account, and then the wrap up to really review everything.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's where we check and make sure everything matches.
Yes. So let's go dive into actually see what that looks like. So the business name, once you click on it, it's basically going to bring you to another screen that starts with some training videos. So you actually have some training videos on the importance of a business name. So it's not only just to get you there, it's to also teach you along the way. That way, once you know how to do it once, can you do it again? And
Sure
again,
can.
and again, and again? Yes. So you'll set up your name. If you need to search the Secretary of State records for where you are, because let's say you want to name your business, Poppin' Fresh Cookies. Well, you need to figure out if somebody else is already using that name. So wherever you are, let's say you're in California, you go to California, you just click it, and it'll literally take you exactly where you need to go to enter in Poppin' Fresh Cookies.
Poppin' Fresh.
And you search it to see if anybody else is using that business. Any state in the country, straight there. Restricted industries, so there's a huge long list of restricted industries, different types of things you could be in. Did you know healthcare is even a restricted industry? Anything in the healthcare industry.
Software, real estate.
Jewelry.
Hey, I didn't know
precious
hotels
stones,
were restricted.
Hotels, yeah.
Wow.
Special trade contractors. Gasoline state. Even gas stations are high risk. Anything, entertainment, dry cleaners, anything like this. These are so many businesses.
Well, what would you say? Leave industry names out of your business name and trademark a unique name?
Yeah, that's really what we're looking for, is something that could be trademarked, something that is not industry specific. I love the words enterprises. I love development. I love, I don't know. Those are some really we have a whole bunch of other ones. We can talk more on consults about that. So we got a free 30-minute consultation, because maybe you just have questions on what is the best path for your business. We offer something very special here on this YouTube channel, a special consultation, a free 30-minute consultation. Now, please be respectful of time, because we charge $200 for this normally. It is important to understand that we, sometimes in life, making small adjustments and getting certain people involved, I always request that you seek professionals when growing something like a company, whether it's your attorney, whether it's your accountant, or whether it's a financial team that can get you the funding you need. I recommend you spend that extra, because if I said, what if I gave you an opportunity to spend $10,000 today for $50,000 in 6 months? Would you do it? Would you do it?
Yes.
That's if you had the $10,000 available, you would, because it's the return on investment. There's a big difference between assets and liabilities. Buying an asset is something that's going to pay you money. And to truly build wealth, you need to buy assets. And an asset is simply something that will make you money or gain access to money. Something like our business credit builder is an asset because it's going to make you money and get you money. Now, let's work on business address. So as you're going through, why is it important for your address, and what is bad about having certain addresses and things like that. If you need a virtual office, these are national companies. We talk about the price. We talk about, you can access it for your local area and get a good address for your business. Sometimes you can get it for $35 a month. Professional, receptionist, receive packages, mail, all that. Private mailbox number issued is required. That's one of those little secrets that you need, the private mailbox number. Business entity, we got business. Oh, let's cover the business phone number because that's another big thing. Business phone number. So we got our address in there. We're moving forward. We're getting the business entity set up. So even before you've even filed for your entity, we've made sure when we set up a business, we already have the office down. We have the name down. We have all these things set down. So when it comes time to incorporate, just pull the trigger. We don't have to go back and worry about correcting anything. If you're going to pay to have it all filed, file it the right way the first time.
Yes. Win before you play.
Business phone number. Why is it important? List the business phone number under 411. So important, so important. So if you scroll down a little bit, like Mr. Smith is going to do that for us, then you can see where we're going to put the phone number in, all that information. Right here, we're going to be able to submit you under our account. So save you some money through about $365. We'll put you into the directory for you through our corporate listing account. You can get phones very inexpensively. Freedom Voice, Ring Central, Vonage. These are numbers that are actually registered to your business. When that number is looked up, it needs to be registered to your company. You can also get toll-free numbers, access it that way. Websites and email. Email is very important and we'll help you out with that. Websites is actually not something that's required, but if you're going to have one, make sure it's all set up the right way. Business licensing, business bank accounts, all that beautiful stuff. Then we're going to move on to what? Establishing your reports. So, well, actually, I mean, we just skip for round one.
That's pretty. You just pretty much wrapped up round one. You just put
We're step two.
We're now in step two.
Nice.
We're in step two. So now we need to go to Dun & Bradstreet and get a DUNS number. This is important. Now, Dun & Bradstreet, they are a data collection agency. And the thing is, you can actually, what you're going to do is get on a call with one of our team members, our financial team members, and they're going to tell you what to say and what not to say. Mm-hmm. Because when you talk to Dun & Bradstreet, they're going to ask you a lot of questions. The benefit is they will get a lot of information. The negative side of that is you could say something and most likely will say something that will hurt you. There's a lot of things that they will say are required. They're going to say things like, oh, well, we can't complete your file if you don't tell us that information. They have all the tricks and things, and if you do not know any different, how are you supposed to protect yourself? So if you never heard about a scam and somebody comes along, are they going to be able to take advantage of you? So we are going to coach you on how to answer it the right way so it doesn't come back to bite you in the rear, which it can. Startup companies, they don't have any revenue. Well, when it goes out to apply, if you had answered some questions about revenue, boom, but you also on the flip side is you can't lie. Don't want you lying, but we also, I plead the fifth. Basically what you got to do.
Yes.
Learn how to say no the right way.
Step 3, round 1.
Step 3, round 1. We're going to show you how to actually get the accounts, who actually applies. Okay, so let's see, let's run down. These are the accounts that you can actually get in the beginning round. Let's talk about Uline. Now the thing is, when you actually go into this account, because you could maybe find out, oh, well,
Hey, that's a good thing to say right there.
oh, right here,
We're
yes.
keeping track of everything.
As the system is keeping track and the team is keeping track, it'll say you're pre-qualified. So that means that we already know that you meet the requirements for this account. So then you're like, Uline, what is Uline? Let's go take a look at that.
What is Uline?
Well, Uline is the leading distributor of shipping, industrial packaging materials, industrial janitorial products. 99.5 of Uline's orders are shipped the same day. Huge. They're huge.
With no back orders.
No back orders.
Perfect.
Big. They're huge. Now, this is important. The phone number reports to Experian and Dun & Bradstreet. $50 minimum required to report. So say you're like, oh well, I have my Dun's number. I know that Uline is going to report. I'm going to make a purchase and I'm going to order some paper and stuff, and it comes out to about $40. That should be good. It actually will not report, and it can actually take up to 90 days for it to report, and so you have just wasted 3 months of your time
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What if you make a $50 purchase, but Uline is shipping it on 2 different days or in 2 different orders, and so they're going to put one of your orders for $30 and the other for $20? Will that report?
No, that will not.
That's
That is a
great
big
question.
trip up, and that myself
Wow.
have done. It was one of those things. It was like, well, if we make total, but then they're shipping it from different warehouses, the invoice totals. That's what the issue is.
Nice.
Now to qualify, you need an EIN number, you need a DUNS number, you need no personal guarantee necessary, but they may ask for you to be prepaid a couple of purchases before giving you a net 30 account. To this day, I have not had anybody not be able to get a Uline account right off the bat, except for one person who didn't actually work with us, who was, if you're listening, we'd still love to help you out because I know that you still don't have money. Because the unfortunate case is, like I said, YouTube, there's information in abundance, but it's which information is the right way, who has a proven track record, who is the right place to follow and work with. When it comes to building business credit, and if you want to get business credit the right way without using your social security number, it is very hard to get people and companies to ship products to your business to a different state. So if your business is, say, in Nevada, and you set it up in Nevada because of, you're like, oh, well, I'm not making any money yet, but I heard some great things about corporate tax and all this beautiful stuff. Trying to get, but I actually live in Florida. So trying to ship product, company, I think they were living in Nevada, which is a great place to set up an entity. You're already in Nevada, but they ended up setting it in Connecticut because it was about $100 cheaper. And then they had a virtual office in Connecticut, and then they were trying to ship their product to Vegas. And if you're trying to, let's say, I want to borrow $100 from you. I live in California. I want to borrow this $100 from you. Can you send it to me in Rhode Island? Right off the bat, you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And they're like, well, how long are you going to be in Rhode Island? Actually, I technically live in Rhode Island, but it's like, wait, you said you lived in California, but now you're saying you lived in Rhode Island, or you want me to send the money over there?
Warning, red
Yes.
flag.
Just a very important thing. This is that whole looking at ourselves and our company in the mirror. What are we portraying to other people? And if we just get a handle on what we're actually putting out there into the world, we wouldn't even trust that. So why are we doing it? Monitor your reports. This is important. We need to monitor these reports, especially after round one, because this could take 60 to 90 days. And we'll show you which accounts take longer and other things like that. You get in, you make your purchases, and then you're going to have to wait a little while. We're going to have to set up the monitoring, and we're going to wait until these start showing up on your report, because we can't move forward until they actually report. So you go in here, we'll get you set up for $24 a month, and then we can move on to round two. Building of round two is the store cards. So there's some gas cards in here, there's HD Supply, there's all sorts of different places. But, say we want to, you go down there, and the same thing, there's Lowe's in there. We can actually get you a Home Depot card in the first round. There's all sorts of things that we can get for you.
Yes.
And I'll give you all the details on how to set those accounts up. Most of the time, these purchases are even less than the first round that is required. Same with round three. We move on to round three. We're going to more stores. We're going to, there's, say, t-shirts. So you want to get some t-shirts for your company. Gas cards, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, Amazon. Walmart, Sears. You name it, it's in there. Then after we get those, another 30 days to wait for those to report. Then move on again, and we get some bigger companies. And this is just, it creates a snowball of momentum. So once we start getting some, then we got to wait a little bit, let it roll, put on a little bit more, let it roll. PNC, so some banks there. This is car financing.
Nice.
Sam's Club, Home Depot, Universal Fleet, MasterCard. So these are MasterCards. These are revolving charge cards. And see, of course, it says not recommended because we have not gotten to the point where on this company where we've reached that level. Now it takes time, but it's like, well, why aren't we qualified? You know, it needed 10 accounts reporting, which as our team is monitoring this account, 10 accounts are not reporting yet. Dunn's number is there, but is the paydex score above a 78? Do we have a $10,000 high limit card reporting? 3 years in business. Ooh, 3 years in business. But there's ways to offset that. Because when we actually go down, there's sometimes they'll say it's required for personal guarantee. You can't actually submit an application online because the form requires that field to be filled in. So we'll give you all the details on how to offset that. We'll offset it by getting you a Home Depot card of round one that's actually a beginner account. And there's all these little tools and tricks and things where if you just went out and wanted to apply for a Home Depot revolving line of credit, you would need to have good personal credit. You'd need to personally guarantee it, and you'd need to be in business for 3 years and have a significant track record. We will show you how to do it the effective way in less than a year.
Less than a year.
So moving forward, all of this stuff, you can find it at wiseguysandties.com. You can find a full walkthrough of that in more in depth by our other partner, Ty Crandall. And you can actually see that, explore. It's about a 20-minute walkthrough. But the important part is that there's so many things in here that can cost so much money. You know, $1,500 to Dun & Bradstreet, another $300 to get your 411, you know, $300 in getting your reports. I mean, that alone, all these things, you know, let's see, report score training, Dun & Bradstreet Equifax, setting up those accounts, getting access to all these high limit store cards, the high limit Visas, the high limit MasterCards, 90% off of your full credit monitoring. Amazing stuff. You got advisor support, we got merchant account servicing, English and Spanish access. I mean, the list goes on and on. We'll even show you if there is some discrepancies and issues, how to fix your credit. It's absolutely unstoppable. $7,000 because that's what we paid when we first originally learned how to do this. We had paid $7,000 to a company to learn how to do our first business. And then we've spent now several thousands of dollars on top of that to develop a system and find a team of financial advisors and loan officers who have already been in this field for several years, 11 years actually, partnered up with a long-time financial team to bring it to you at a smoking good deal. And that's something that CJ is going to talk to you about tonight. Yeah, so let's see how I did tonight, because my goal was to try to give you all the nuts and bolts. And now, Mr. Joseph Smith, who is extraordinary real estate investor, master credit engineer to the world. He's gonna he's gonna make sure that I accomplished teaching you tonight.
Great job, Ray.
Good job, man.
All right.
Yes.
So, it doesn't make any difference if you didn't learn anything, so let's see what you learned.
There you go. Let's do it.
Okay, so what is a perfect business credit score? Let's have someone shout out. First person to win gets my respect.
There we go. What is it, folks? The perfect credit score on the business credit side. Remember, business credit is so much different. Poisonous said 100. Good
Perfect.
job, Poisonous.
He's got my respect.
Yes.
Or she. I don't know if it's he or she.
Good job.
Okay, who are the reporting bureaus on the business credit? Where do you go to find and track that business credit score?
Ooh, who reports? Who reports? There's the big three.
Mm-hmm.
What are the big three? What are the big three?
Do.
Yes.
Did somebody
Miss
answer?
Poisonous. All right.
What'd she say?
I'm sure she's typing it out right now.
Okay.
She's probably going to be the first one again. Who reports? There's the big three. Okay. Remember, on the personal side, it's Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. What is it on the business credit side? Remember,
Come on,
business
folks.
credit is so much different.
Who's got the answer?
Personal credit. There you go. Okay, so Jason chimed in. He said Dun & Bradstreet. Experian and Equifax, he said.
All right.
Good job, Jason. All right, awesome.
He gets 3 gold stars.
Sean Williams, Dun and Brad, Experian,
Okay,
Equifax. Good job.
Now, here are all the things that affect your personal credit score. What affects your business credit score? What are the things that make it go up? What are the things you can do that makes it go down?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question, Joseph. Look, remember on the personal credit side,
5 things.
5 things affect your score: the payment history, the age of accounts, utilization, mix of accounts, inquiries. But what is it that affects your score on the business credit side? Sean Williams says paying late.
That's right.
Payment history.
Your payment history is it.
Is that the
so?
only thing?
Guess what that means? It means you could max your credit card, your business credit cards out, and it has no negative impact. You could apply for 10 new cards every day, no negative impact.
None.
Right? The only thing that matters is your ability to pay your bills on time.
There you go.
That's it. In fact, let's redefine what on time means.
There you go.
To pay early is to pay on time. To pay on time, well, you know, with the way processing works and everything, you could actually end up being late.
Ooh.
And to pay late means no business credit for you. That's what it means.
That's a good
so we're
one.
going to start learning to pay early. Because to pay early is to pay on time. In fact, the sweet spot is really 22 days after you've been invoiced. You want to make sure that you're paying right around, because sometimes you don't want to pay too early, but I don't want to get too technical on that. I'd rather you pay too early and it didn't count than to wait too long and then it didn't process and then you. So if you were to not pay one bill on time, that is going to affect you for 3 years.
There you go.
3 years. 3 years you're like, you can't build business credit anymore. Because it's going to keep you below an 80, and you need an 80 or better to build your business credit. So pay early.
There you go. Good job.
Because to pay early means to pay on time.
Good job.
All right.
I like what Poisonous said. She said pay early or paying late. That affects your score. It sure does. When you pay early, you get what? A 100. When you pay late, you get what? Nothing, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's good
So,
job.
How long does it take you to get an excellent business credit rating? Right? We showed you the steps 1 through 7. We showed you the rounds 1 through 4. Right?
That's awesome. That's an awesome question.
How long does it take to get an excellent business credit rating where you have $50,000 in lines of credit and can go on to apply for an additional $25,000 to $150,000, $250,000? How long does that take?
Sean Williams says 6 months.
And
Look at you.
the answer is,
Look at you.
when you start working with us, it's 6 to 12 months using the Business Credit Builder, the whole web-based program, our team of financial advisors and loan officers that are proactive, working with you, calling you every day to hold you accountable. Then it'll take you 6 to 12 months. Go do it on your own? I don't know. It took me 3 years.
Wow.
Maybe you're smarter than me and can get it done in less time. But that's a full-time job to apply for all of the applications, to fill it all out, then to make all the payments, track all the payments. I mean, at one point you're like, well, wait a minute, when do I actually get to go do my business? Right? You want a system, right? Systems. How many times does CJ talk about systems? Systems are how you build your wealth. This is a system that we've shown you here today that can help you not only do this the right way, but save you time and money as well. All right, so what does something like this cost? Well, we'll tell you. Our services, we retail on our website. You can go check out Wise Guys and Ties. Go to our pricing page. You're going to find out that our services cost $4,997. Remember, we paid $7,000 of our own money to do our own. We're giving you a great discount off of what we charge, what we pay. Now, we do offer a special one-time only discount. This is also on our website. If you pay all up front, one-time cash discount, we're going to go ahead and give you 20% off. You can get the whole program, the web-based program. You can get the financial advisory team that have been doing this for 11 years. And they have literally helped thousands of small business owners raise millions of dollars in lines of credit. All right, I mean, that is powerful. And you get your loan officers, all of them working together. This is all included, right? So, what else? Well, when you sign up with us, we're going to throw in some bonuses, right? We're going to throw in you a lot of books that have been written in the space here on the subject matter of business credit. These are actually books written by the financial advisors that you'll be working with, right? We're talking about what are the 9 most devastating mistakes business owners make when financing. We're talking about 12 credit lines and cards you can get for your business right now. The definitive guide to building business credit, 27 killer ways to get cash financing for your business. These are all things that we can help you with. Business credit building checklists to make sure you don't miss one step, right? As well as FICO scores decoded. Hey, a little bonus here. What about your personal credit score? What are the choices that you could start making today? What are the rookie mistakes that people who don't understand their own personal credit that they make every day and that makes your score go down or stay down? Small little choices that you can proactively make to just make your credit score go up, right? All of these books are over $300 in value.
Yes.
Just throwing that in. All right, but you don't have to take my word for it. I want to share with you the success that somebody that I think you know very well. His name's CJ Wallace.
Yeah.
This is a gentleman, as you know, he runs this whole YouTube channel. He does velocity banking. He's done so many real estate investing projects. But let me tell you something. When he got started with business credit, he faced the same opportunity that you faced. I want you, CJ, come on over here. Why don't you tell them what happened with you?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what happened to me. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. All right. Now, you guys, of course, know me as a realtor, real estate investor, YouTube creator, on and on and on. But it wasn't always that way. Again, a special shout out to my folks at Keller Williams Brokerage. We have a lady that just got on board with us, and she's already selling houses. They just make it really easy for you. Sort of like what we do with business credit. We make it easy for people to get the business credit, to get in business and get money. But what happened to me is, I got working with wise guys in ties. And many of you know that, in business, it's not easy, right? But I want to tell you, just to make a long story short, I want to tell you that in less than 2 weeks, I got $3,000 in business lines of credit. Folks,
It already paid for itself.
it already paid for itself. And that's just what happens when you get connected with a bunch of guys that know a team that knows what they're doing, that is professional, has a process, and knows how to consult with people every step of the way. We hold your hand every step of the way. And Joseph, Ray, I want to thank you both for doing that for me. All right?
You got it, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, stay up here with me real
Absolutely,
quick.
man,
Let's just
absolutely.
close this out real quick. I want people to know, because there's some people who got on a little bit late, and they were saying, oh man, I missed it all.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we just want to know, we put all of the notes together from today's presentation into a 4-step guide. We covered 7 steps, 4 steps, 3 rounds, 4 rounds. We put all the information here. This comes out to 6 pages. We put it all on a PDF. All you have to do is text the word credit to 602-497-2257 to go ahead and get your copy of all the notes on how you can build your business credit. Now, CJ, should I tell them what happened to the end of that football game?
Oh, tell them. Tell them what happened.
All right, folks. Remember, we're carrying this. This is an analogy. This is like a parable for your business. You're an upstart business, or you've been in business for a while, but you're starting to have some financial needs. Well, here in this game, we showed you how in the last seconds of the game, they scored on a flea flicker play, and they tied up the game. Now the game goes into overtime. Let me ask you something about your business. Do you ever feel like your business might be facing sudden death? You ever felt like you're in overtime? You've been working overtime, right? So here's the. It's like, if we don't make this deal, then we lose.
Right.
So in overtime, the way it works is one team gets the ball first, they got 4 tries to score, and then the other team gets the ball and they get 4 tries to score. So right off the bat, the Oklahoma Sooners get the ball. And this was back when Adrian Peterson played for them. If you don't know who that is, that's a very successful professional NFL running back. But anyway, so they give him the ball, first play, runs right up the field for a touchdown. Oh, if you're a Boise State fan, you're like, oh no. You ever feel like the competition, the businesses that have been doing it for a while, they're just crushing it because they've got the talent, they've got the money, they're all together. How are you going to make it? You're just starting out. Mm-hmm. Well, Boise State, they've got 4 tries, so they take the ball, and the first play they do a run, and they don't get anywhere. So the next play, they pass the ball, they drop the ball. Third play, they pass the ball again. No good, doesn't work. So now we're down to the 4th play in overtime. This is it. If we don't score here, we lose. So the snap is made to the halfback. He's running. That's a running back. He's running to the right. The whole team's coming in. And then what? What does he do? Last second, he throws the ball into the end zone with a tight end that nobody saw there, catches the ball. Touchdown, Boise State. Touchdowns are worth 6 points.
Nice.
They're now at the point where they have to make a decision. What do you do?
Okay.
See, they could play it safe and kick an extra point, which is worth 1 point, tie up the game, and go into double overtime and try and win again. Or they could play for the win. Put their whole season, their whole career, your whole business on the line. Right? That's pretty risky unless you know what play to call. Oh. Let's see what Boise State chose to do. They chose to not play it safe. They chose to play for the win. So they're going to go for a 2-point conversion. If they score here, they win the game. They win the championship. They win the bowl game. Let's see what happens here. If we can get it working. Ready?
Let's go.
Right. Boise State for the win. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Can you believe it?
Wow.
You know, it's amazing. And Boise State, this young upside, they had the chance to just tie it up, play it safe, go for them, but they chose to go for it. So let me ask you, are you playing it safe? Right? As an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, you playing it safe?
No.
Playing it safe? Does that really win?
You know what? Sometimes, folks, when you play it safe, that's the most dangerous thing you could do, especially in this day and age.
So I want to know, are you going to play to win? Right? Are you going to play to win? See, we've got the strategy. We've got the entrepreneurial playbook. Step by step, we show you how to win, how to get $50,000 in lines of credit for your business in 6 to 12 months, right? You just have to start working with us. Right up here on the board, this is our contact information. And CJ, did you have a special offer that you were going to make to your folks here?
You know what?
You come out here in front here.
You want me to go ahead and say the special offer?
Folks, thank you so much for having me here on the YouTube channel. It has been such a blessing to be with such excellent and admirable people. Yes. God bless you. You have a good night. I want to bring CJ back up here. The man, the myth, the legend, CJ Wallace. Why don't you close this out for tonight?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joseph. Absolutely. So, folks, you already know the contact information right there in the comments. Go ahead and contact wiseguysandties.com if you want to get started tonight. Absolutely. Now, for tonight, I want to extend this offer. And I hope you guys don't get mad at me, because I don't know if you're going to approve of this or not. But I would like to drop that offer down to $29.97.
What?
That's already the drop price.
Is that already the drop price? Okay. What about this? What What if we did $24.97?
An additional $500 off?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
If you pay for it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, let's do that. $2,497. I'll pay for it. How about that? Yeah. And folks, I just sent somebody 2 checks in the mail because I wanted to help them out in their business. We're all about helping folks, and this $2,497 price, it's going to help you tremendously. All right. Now, let's say you also want to go out and help someone else establish their business, get business credit. You want to direct them to us. When they make that investment in themselves and they purchase the $2,497 package with the business credit builder, guess what? You get a referral fee of $200. Absolutely. And that's not a joke. All right. So we want to help you establish your business. We know you're a business owner. We know that you are someone who is very, very good at what you do. We just want you to know and have that leverage for yourself. All right. So
How long is that?
And if they send
for?
us, if they send us 5 referrals
Okay.
or 6.
Okay. All right.
If they send us 5 referrals and 5 people get signed up that they referred, we'll get them their own business credit at no cost.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Did you hear that? 5 business referrals, you get the business credit at no cost.
So say you don't have the money to do it, just send us 5 people.
Just send us 5 people. All right? And they'll get signed up and then you'll get hooked up. Right? Hey, does that sound
Make sure
good?
that they use your name.
How long
Yeah,
is?
make sure
how,
you
how
use
long
my
are you
name,
giving this
absolutely.
$500 off offer? I mean,
Okay.
I don't want
Yeah.
to keep that up.
So it's going to be for tonight. Okay, it's going to be for tonight, folks. So go ahead and have that ready tonight. Now you may say, well, wait a minute, I'm going to bed. You know what? Just go ahead and get in contact with these guys and let them know your extenuating circumstances. And they may say yay, they may say no, but we are all one. We do want to help you out, but we can't extend this forever. You know what I mean? Okay, so $2,497 is the price for the business credit. And when you get $50,000, right, in business lines of credit, $2,497 is so small.
Go to wiseguysandties.com, fill out the console.
wiseguysandties.com, fill out the console.
It's on
All
the board
right.
right
Now
there.
listen, look at the board. There you go. Write it down. Write it down. You can do this, right? BizCred at wiseguysandties.com, or go to the website and we'll make sure that your business credit is established, because that's what we do. All right. That's what we do. Folks, man, it's been awesome having you here. CreditWiz at investorpro.org if you want to get connected with me. But man, if you want to start, tonight is your night. We will be up answering phone calls, answering the email, making sure that you're getting connected with the business credit builder to start building your business credit today. And remember, folks, playing it safe is playing to win. All right. Now,
No. Playing it safe is playing to lose.
no.
Going
What I
for
meant-
it is.
What I meant was, when you play to win, that is playing it safe.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh.
That's play to lose. No one wants to play to lose. And when you go into a business venture, I just want to give you an extra thing before you know me, I'm kind of like Ray. Not as extensive as Ray is, but boy, I love just giving you information so that you can use and build your wealth. So what you need to do in every business endeavor is make sure that you win before you play. We can help you do that. All right. Good night, folks, and God bless.
Woo!